Good evening, this is EmbassyMedia. This is a special broadcast with interviews Eritrean youth studying on scholarships abroad, as well as Eritrean youth who have either recently migrated or those of which were born or raised abroad who have accomplished success in their personal and professional lives. EmbassyMedia is pleased to present a special edition on the pride of three generations. I have the privilege of presenting Yael Hagheray. She is a lawyer based in Canada. Thank you, Yael, for having you here on EmbassyMedia. How are you? How's Canada?
I'm good. Thank you for having me. Canada's doing good. We're all doing really good here.
Fantastic. Yael, welcome. I understand that you are a lawyer. Give us a little bit insight into your experience.
Sure. So I graduated law school last year. So I'm not a qualified lawyer yet, but I'm doing my licensing exams right now. And then I'll be called to the bar in 2021. So after that, I'm planning to practice as a solicitor and hopefully specialize in immigration.
Great. And what made you want to be a lawyer? Give us a little bit more insight into your experience.
Yeah, sure. So I think there's lots of factors that made me want to go into law. So I was born in Saudi Arabia, and we immigrated to Canada when I was 5 years old, myself and my brothers and my mom. And so after immigrating, going to school here, I think I saw a lot of the struggles that lots of immigrants had to go through. And after finishing high school, I was finding different ways to get involved. So I decided to study political studies at the University of Manitoba. And so doing political studies, I did a minor in sociology, and it kind of gave me insight into different parts of the world and what was going on in different areas. And during that time, I had the opportunity to study in Turkey. So I went to Turkey for 6 months. I did international relations there. So lots of my studies were focused on the relationship between EU and a lot of Middle Eastern countries. So it gave me a different insight on what was going on in a completely different part of the world as opposed to Canada or Eritrea. So after coming back from Turkey, I think that's when I decided, okay, I want to study law and I want to find a way to help people. And I thought the best way to assist people with access to justice would be through immigration and human rights.
What's your take on, if you visited to the Middle East, what is your experience? What's your take on your experience in the Middle East?
So I had a really enjoyable time in Turkey. It was obviously very different, a really big culture shock, not knowing the language, not really understanding the culture. And I didn't see a single Eritrean person for a very long time there. So it was a little bit different to be in a country where you didn't see anybody who looked like you. But I think it gave me good insight because I was able to give people, I guess, more knowledge on my experience and the things that I was doing in Canada and the things that I wanted to do. So being in the Middle East was really good because I was able to meet so many different people and learn so much about such a different part of the world that I'd never been to.
And I understand Turkey and Eritrea have very similar culture. So am I right?
In a way, I guess. Yeah, I guess the way that the country kind of operates, and they're very, I would say, focused on the cultural side of things, where I feel like Eritrea is very similar in a sense. It's very community-based, and a lot of people, it's very welcoming, and I feel like that is a way that I saw Turkey and Eritrea being very similar.
Great. I understand you want to be a lawyer. Give us, your past. What did your career path look like to reach your goal, Yael?
Yeah, sure. So while I was doing my undergraduate degree, I wasn't really doing anything in, I guess, the field of law. But once I traveled to the UK to do my law degree, which was at the University of Leeds, I started working volunteering at a legal aid office. So that gave me kind of an insight into what law was like while I was studying law. And then following graduation, I was working at an immigration law firm in London. So I had the opportunity to work with private clients, corporate clients, and it gave me a really good broad aspect of what immigration law was like in London. And now working in Canada, not much of my work has to do with immigration, but a lot of my work is corporate commercial and dealing with lots of businesses and lots of tax law. So that's the point in my career where I'm at right now. And then I just have a couple more exams before my call to the bar.
Great. Let me take you a little bit more to your background. Tell me how, as an Eritrean, How much were you influenced by your parents? What is the most Eritrean thing you learned from your parents, Yael?
I would say I was very inspired by my parents and the struggles that my mom went through to get to Canada and what she did for us once we got here and pushed us for higher education. So I would say the main thing I learned was hard work and always valuing education and making sure I was always putting my education first. So that was probably the main thing that I learned from my mom. And then hearing stories about my dad from family members also pushed me to do big things because of everything that I heard he had accomplished in his life as well.
When was the last time you visited Eritrea?
So I went in the summer of 2015.
Yeah, great. Tell me how you became to be, the successful and driven young woman, and what challenges did you overcome to be where you are here today?
Sure. So obviously immigrating to Canada, not speaking any English at such a young age was initially a struggle, but I feel like we found a path quite quickly and I was able to learn a lot of things very fast. So I think one of the main things was probably just the struggle of not really understanding Canadian culture for a very long time. And so it was difficult to make friends. It was difficult to understand the way things worked in Canada, the weather. There's so many factors that made things difficult. So I think it wasn't so much a struggle, but it was definitely an adjustment coming to Canada as a child and not knowing everything that the children already knew here. But I think once we got over that, my brothers and I were able to adjust fairly well once we kind of got over that hump.
Yeah, fantastic. This is a very special edition. As an Eritrean in diaspora, what does the title of this program, The Pride of Three Generations, means to you, Yael?
So I think this program is really important because I've seen how important it is for Eritreans to have someone to look up to and someone who looks like them and has a similar upbringing to them, doing things that they want to do in their future. So I volunteered in the Eritrean Community Center in Winnipeg, where I live in Canada. And there's also the Need Center that has lots of immigrants and refugees that have just come to Canada. So I worked as a tutor and mentor there. So they placed me with different Eritrean families to kind of, help the kids adjust to Canadian culture and help them with English, help them with their homework. And seeing how much that benefited them, it made me realize I wish I had something like that as a child. So being able to be an influence for younger Eritreans, I think is really important. And now knowing that you guys have a platform where you're going to introduce Eritreans to other people who are like them and perhaps other people who want to study law or whatever careers are being introduced to them. I think it's really important for them to get, to get hope that there's a lot of people who look like them who have done the same things that they want to do.
Great.
So I think it's really important what you guys are doing.
Great. I understand that you have always said you like to work for Eritrean Embassy. Why is that?
So studying politics and international affairs, it started to make me realize I don't really know much about Eritrea other than my culture and what my family has taught me, what my mom has taught me. So diving more into it and having more discussions that have to do with the politics in Eritrea, the affairs that they have with other countries surrounding them, or even other countries across oceans, it made me realize that it would be such a pivotal part of my career if I could be part of that in terms of helping and working within the politics within Eritrea and bringing my background with my undergraduate degree, but now also having my law degree. I think it would be a good cross paths to be able to understand what's going on in Eritrea and maybe how I can help as well working in that realm.
Fantastic. Sounds really great. I'm sure some of our diplomats are listening to this conversation. Yael, in the current corona pandemic, change your outlook in life? If so, how?
I think it's made me appreciate a lot of the smaller things, especially family time now that we're kind of stuck at home. So just being able to spend more time with family and realizing there is so much to learn. And having this opportunity to maybe just take a step back, because I've been in university for the past 6 years of my life straight without any breaks. And this was the first time where some people were laid off from their jobs. We didn't really have much that we could do. And so once things got bad in Canada, I think that's when I started to wonder more about the world. And I was doing lots more research and doing virtual internships and just trying my best to still keep my mind sharp. in such a trying time. So yeah, it's taught me a lot, I would say.
Oh, tell me about the situation. I mean, how's Canada handling this pandemic?
I would say they're handling it really well. So in the summer, our numbers were very low. We were doing really well. I also live in a not very small city, but a smaller city in the middle of Canada. So east and west were doing very bad because obviously they're much bigger, lots more travel rather than central Canada. So we were doing good in the summer. And then as soon as schools opened, that's when things just started to get really bad. So now we're back to code red and it's complete lockdown again for the next, I think, 28 days.
Oh, fantastic. Yeah, great. Well, you know, finally, because our time is also running, finally, what message would you like to give to young Eritreans to be successful in their endeavors? So what's your final word for young Eritreans?
Yeah, so I would say put anything that, like, do anything that you put your mind to. There's no dream that is too big. There's no place that you can't go. Study abroad, take advantage of every opportunity. And even if you walk into a room and you're the only person that looks like that in that room, just know that that's an advantage rather than a disadvantage. Just realize that there's so many people like you that have done so many things for the first time. And you have a lot of people to look up to and a lot of people that you would want to reach out to in order to make your dreams come true. So that would be my message there.
Fantastic. You know, Yael Hagheray, a lawyer, dynamic. I am really pleased and honored to have you here on EmbassyMedia. What's your plan for the future? What's your what are you planning in the next?
Yeah, so I mentioned I have 2 more exams, my licensing exams. So once I finish those, I'll get my call to the bar in 2021, hopefully. And once I am called to the bar and I pass that exam, then I'll be qualified as a solicitor. And I'm hoping to be dual qualified. So I'm hoping to do my qualification in Canada and then also do my English qualification. And I'm planning to practice in London and hopefully move there in the next 1 to 2 months.
Fantastic. You know, all the best. Greetings from London, from EmbassyMedia, from the entire team.
Thank you so much.
We'll check on you, and so all the best.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. Take care.
Thank you, Yael Hagheray, for being here, our guest. Dear viewers, this was another episode on our special edition, The Pride of 3 Generations. My guest speaker tonight was Ms.Yael Hagheray, all the way from Canada. She's a young, dynamic lawyer. Well, until next edition, stay safe and good night.